"Sir, a man's body was just found in a charred condition under the old banyan tree," said Samini to Sumarto, her husband. "Who did you hear it from?" asked Mr. Marto. "Just now from the RT head who passed in front of our house," said Samini. This Sunday morning, the area around Mr. Marto's house was very crowded. Many people came to see the body of the man who was found dead under the old banyan tree that was known to be haunted. Not only local residents came, people from other areas also came in large numbers. This can be seen from the many motorbikes parked around the location. The area seemed to be an impromptu tourist spot. Local residents did not waste the opportunity by becoming parking attendants. Because the police had not arrived, the bodies had not been evacuated. This news spread quickly via SMS and attracted many people to come and see the bodies of the victims of the ferocity of the old banyan tree guardian. The body of the man, who was estimated to be around 30 years old, was covered with a sarong. While waiting for the police to arrive, no local residents knew the man. It was certain that the man was not a local resident. The death of the man made the mystical story that had been circulating for so long grow. The old banyan tree was right next to the house that used to be occupied by Mr. Ponko with Panara, his wife and their only child, Bondan. From this family, Mr. Ponko was the first to die. Mr. Ponko died suddenly, without any prior illness. Local residents associated Mr. Ponko's death with the mystical world. No one knows where it came from, but residents believe Mr. Ponko had black magic and that Mr. Ponko died because the ghost of a woman he kept asked for a sacrifice. A year later, his wife Panara died of dengue fever, and a week after Panara's death, their son Bondan, who was 17 years old at the time, died hanging from the old banyan tree. Bondan died of pure suicide, said the police. Since then, Pak Ponko's family home has been left empty. Who knows where their relatives are? But as far as Pak Marto knows, they have never received a visit from their relatives. So as a neighbor, Mr. Marto didn't know where to go to contact Mr. Ponko's family or heirs. Mr. Marto only knew that they came from Jombang, East Java. For Mr. Marto, Mr. Ponko's family was good. It's just that Mr. Ponko was a bit quiet and withdrawn. Their lives also looked normal. Nothing looked different from other residents. Not rich, not showing any strange behavior, not doing any strange rituals. Their lives are like most of the locals. Their whole family are farm laborers. I don't know who spread the rumor that Mr. Ponko has a connection with the mystical world. Mr. Ponko's house has started to rot due to age. The old banyan tree next to Mr. Ponko's house is getting thicker, adding to the spooky impression. Not many residents dare to come or simply take shelter from the rain under the old banyan tree. Fortunately, the goats of the local residents like to graze there so that the land around the tree is not overgrown with grass or tall bushes. The path next to Pak Ponko's house and passing beside the old banyan tree is actually a shortcut to the main road. But because of the spooky impression caused by the mystery stories, many residents choose to take another, longer path. There are some residents who still dare to take this shortcut, but usually they walk quickly without daring to look back at the former house of Mr. Ponko or the banyan tree. There are also residents who are forced to go there because they are looking for their goats that have not returned even though it is already evening. "Uncle, how many people died around that old banyan tree?" asked Boggins, Pak Marto's nephew who had just arrived from the city, after performing the Puja Bhakti with his uncle and aunt this afternoon. Bogas visited his friend's house. Tonight Bogas and Pak Marto, his uncle, were chatting in the living room. As far as I can remember, this is the third person, replied Pak Marto. Actually, what caused those who died around the tree? Bogas became curious because of the stories from people this morning. Some said the old banyan tree asked for a sacrifice. Some said the female ghost kept by Mr. Ponko asked for a sacrifice, and so on, asked the accounting student curiously. Yes, it is not clear what caused his death. First, a man was found dead with a charred body. The victim was found at night by his brother. According to the story, this man came to this area to buy a goat for a party. That afternoon it rained quite heavily, because he didn't return until the evening. His brother came here looking for the man. The man was found dead under a banyan tree with a charred body. Some people thought he was struck by lightning, but it didn't seem like it was raining heavily that afternoon and there was no lightning, Mr. Marto said while recalling the incident at that time. The victim was immediately taken home by his family to be buried. Mr. Marto continued. The second victim was also a man. This man was found dead by residents passing by Mr. Ponko's house. This man was found dead with his top pants open. The rumor is that this man was killed by a female tree ghost who was angry because her residence was urinated on by this man. Mr. Marto looked at his nephew. The victim who died was also not a resident of the area. Mr. Marto looked out the window. The third victim, also a man and again not a resident of the area. The third victim was the man who was found this morning. Mr. Marto ended his story. Do you believe in the story that is circulating that this family keeps a female ghost, and their entire family became a sacrifice and now the ghost continues to claim victims? Bogas tried to ask his uncle's opinion. Well, what should I do? Actually, I don't believe it. According to me, Mr. Ponko's family is a good family even though he is a bit quiet and withdrawn. As far as my uncle, who had visited their house several times, knew, there was no mystical impression at all. As for the last victim, according to my uncle, he died because he was struck by lightning. Bogas knows. Last night it rained very heavily and lightning flashed repeatedly. The man's body was burnt. Mr. Marto tried to argue. Yes, that's true. Bogas confirmed his uncle's opinion, but there was something bothering him. Monday morning, the sun had not yet risen from its bed. The rooster had not yet crowed, but Bogas was already awake. Since early morning at around 04:00, Bogas had not been able to sleep. This holiday felt different. There would be an exciting adventure that would get his adrenaline pumping, he thought. Last night, after finishing chatting with his uncle, Bogas, who was interested in detective stories, got an idea. Today, his vacation will be filled with an adventure to solve the mystery of the guardian of the old banyan tree who is said to often ask for sacrifices. As a Buddhist, Bogas does not believe in the existence of creatures from other worlds. However, when he heard his uncle's story, Bogas suspected that there was something else that caused the deaths of these three men. Bogas took out a digital test pen from his backpack. This tool is not like an ordinary test pen. In a regular test pen, the screwdriver-shaped tip of the test pen must be touched to the socket or to an object suspected of having electricity. If the light is on, it means that the object has electricity. Digital test pens are more sophisticated. Digital test pens can even detect where the cable is broken, simply by bringing the test pen close to the cable without having to touch it. If there is electricity, the test pen will make a sound. This tool was bought when Bogas tried to fix the lamp on his study table. When tested with a regular test pen, it turned out that the socket had electricity, so the problem was not in the socket. When the lamp was tried in another place, the lamp was on, meaning the lamp was not broken. The problem was with the cable. There must be a broken cable, but it was not visible from the outside. Where should the cable be cut and then reconnected? A boarding house friend who is an electrical engineering student lent me this digital test pen. Move this tool along the cable. If there is an electric current, this tool will make a sound. Move this tool along the cable from near the power outlet to the end where the light is. When the sound stops, it indicates that the cable is disconnected at that point. Finally, Bogas also bought this digital test pen. This small digital test pen is always carried by Bogas when traveling. Its function is to tighten the bolts of his glasses that often come loose. After preparing his equipment, wearing a soccer jersey and shorts, Bogas said goodbye to his uncle. "It's rare for you to wake up so early in the morning," said his uncle. "Want to exercise? Just run around here, uncle," said Bogas. Buddhists are taught to learn to live in peace when coexisting with any creature. And one more thing, ehipasiko, don't believe it easily, but prove it yourself. There was also a fear. Maybe Bogas would be disturbed by the creature that guarded the house and the old banyan tree, or the creature would enter Bogas' body, which is usually called possession. Sab sata bhavanta sukhitata. Bogas said the sentence over and over again. May all living beings be happy. I came just to find out, not to disturb or chase you away, said Bogas. Bogas' eyes carefully observed the old house and looked for any live electrical cables there. All the doors and windows were open so that Bogas could see inside freely. Aha! Bogas shouted happily. There are still electrical cables in this house even though they are in bad condition. It seems that scavengers also do not dare to enter here to take all the items that can still be sold. In some parts, the cable was already covered in dust and moss. Bogas observed the cable and looked for where the cable was the lowest so he could find out with his digital test pen. Bogas took out his digital test pen. There were still tables and chairs, although they were damaged and dirty. Bogas slowly stepped into the house. Bogas stepped near the wall and placed his digital test pen near the cable. It turned out to make a sound. This meant that the cables in this house were still carrying electricity. Bogas' heart beat faster. Bogas' eyes scanned the cable paths in the house one by one. One cable went to the living room and ended at a lamp. The lamp was not on. Maybe it was broken. There was a cable leading to the bedroom, also ending in a lamp. There was a cable leading to the terrace, again ending in a lamp, but the lamp was broken. Bogas did not dare to press the switch to see if the lamp was still on, for fear of an electrical short circuit. The last cable that Bogas observed went up to the ceiling. Who knows where? Why was the cable leading to the ceiling? Bogas slowly walked out of the house. He checked the terrace of the house once again, whether the cable led out of the house. Bogas did not find any cable coming out of the roof. What was the purpose of the cable to the ceiling? Bogas observed it once more carefully. Then Bogas tried to circle the house. Right next to the house, Bogas tripped and almost fell. The ground surface was uneven, as if someone had made a small speed bump or someone had buried a water pipe under the mound of earth. Bogas looked for twigs, then dug up the pile of soil. It turned out that dry leaves and soil covered the cable. The cable led to an old banyan tree. Bogas looked at the old tree and found an old biscuit can hanging there. There was a lamp holder but no cable. Bogas concluded that this cable used to come out of the roof leading to the old banyan tree. Mr. Ponko installed a light on this tree. The biscuitkin was to protect the lamp from the rain. The cable was disconnected from its connection and then dangled to the ground until it was eventually naturally covered by soil and dry leaves. Bogas took out his digital test pen and brought it close to the cable. Wow, it sounded, meaning there was still an electric current. The mystery of the men's deaths has been answered. It is possible that they were electrocuted by this cable, especially the second victim. Can you imagine? You pee right on a peeled cable and your urine spontaneously becomes a conductor. They died because of electric shock, not because of a female ghost who was angry that their residence was urinated on. If people knew about Boga's investigation, would they still think that Buddhism is close to the world of the occult, magic, and idol worship? With his Dhamma, Buddha taught his followers to rationally respond to situations, not to believe blindly. Uncle was amazed by Boga's logical explanation. If so, later Uncle will meet Pak RT and ask him to fix the electrical cables in Pak Ponko's former house so that it does not claim any more victims.